Racism is the most powerful system on the planet, yet it's often perceived as the most taboo subject to discuss. In this book, Foundational Black American Race Baiter, world renowned influencer Tariq Naheed give his honest and sometimes controversial perspectives on race relations. Nasheed was born in Detroit, Michigan, raised as a youth in Birmingham, Alabama, and spent most of his life, including his truly formative years, in Los Angeles, California. Foundational Black American Race Baiter chronicles his experiences growing up in these different environments and how these experiences shaped Nasheed's understanding of systematic racism. Tariq Nasheed is a best-selling author, documentary film producer, media personality, and activist. Nasheed created the popular Hidden Colors documentary series, which explores the untold history of black people globally. In addition to 5 installments of Hidden Colors series, Nasheed also produced and directed the documentary films 1804, The Hidden History of Haiti, and Buck Breaking. So Yuki, what you think of Foundational Black American Race Baiter?
So I'm just a little bit halfway through read the book, but I can't put it down. I really need to finish it, but it's so I love how Tariq just break down white supremacy, how this we're under a system, and it starts when you're young. Like I remember, reading some of the stories. Like I remember, man, dealt with like this kind of shit in the workplace or at school. Teachers making slick comments by racism. So like I remember like back in kindergarten, I was in kindergarten, and we was doing something, and the teacher had passed out a crayon box, white teacher, and she took out all the black crayons. And see, black was an ugly color.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
And like he was right, you're supposed to racism starts when you're young.
Yeah, they bold as motherfucker. Yeah, I saw it too as a kid too. But this book is fucking amazing. If you need like a guide to white supremacy, if you're like a young person, I highly recommend reading this book. I mean, this thing breaks down everything. Anything. If you're a black person in America and you feel some type of way towards something, just read this book and it'll probably tell you that's what's happening. For real. Like from the workplace to dealing with coons, everything. It's phenomenal. We wanted to just talk. We want to read a couple parts from the book. Some of your favorite. If you have something bookmarked that you like in the book, just read some from out of the book. I can go first if you need me to. Right. This is from the racism myths. This is one I picked. I really like. Myth number 5: racism goes both ways. White supremacists usually try to distract from their own racism by trying to project their own racist ideologies on others. They try to use terms like reverse racism to create the illusion that there is some type of comparative racism that non-white people practice against them. The white supremacists will often try to push a false narrative about the existence of black racism, but they are fully aware that systematic black racism doesn't exist. They will even try to go as far as to use terms like black supremacists. But logic cancels out the narrative because the word supreme means highest in rank or authority. Supreme means the end all be all. And by definitions, there cannot be two supremes. White supremacy / racism is an entire global system that negatively impacts the lives of non-white people in all areas of activity. Black racism basically amounts to name calling. A black person might use a racial insult to address a white person or other race, but that is the extent of the black racism. There is a system in place that will quickly and severely punish black people for causing any type of physical harm to a white person. Many in white society will try to compare the systematic anti-black subjugation that dominates the educational system, medical field, judicial system, employment system, and so on, to a black person hurling an insult like hunky or cracker towards a white person. In the United States, the buffer class groups are now being used to push the blacks are the real racist narrative. People in Asian American society are all allowed to spew anti-black epithets and even physically abuse black women, customers who patronize Asian-owned establishments. Asians are rarely prosecuted for these common anti-black crimes, but in certain states, black people are severely punished with federal hate crime charges simply for saying something that might be perceived as insulting to an Asian person. There is no such thing as systematic black racism, and the white supremacists are fully aware of this. There is only one form of systematic racism: white supremacy. Boy, when I read that, I was like, "Woo!" It's Tariq basically in his plain and simple, thing. Like this book is so plain and simple, not big words going over your head. I'm not trying to do high concepts on you. Plain and goddamn simple. That's what's so good about this book.
And right to the point.
So I love that. That was one of my favorite parts. What about you?
All right, here's my favorite part from the chapter: racism, racial politics in the workplace. The 3 types of white coworkers to be wary of.
Are you doing all 3 or you just doing one?
I'm going to do one.
Okay.
I'm going to do the plantation overseer. The plantation overseer supervisor. This isn't the guy who hired the black employees, but he runs the day-to-day operation of the office. He treats his black employees like diversity hires who only got the job because they somehow took advantage of a affirmative action program. Typically, this guy was only hired because the owner of the company is his brother-in-law or because of some other form of nepotism. At heart, this supervisor knows he is incompetent and only got his position because of nepotism. So he tries to project his own incompetence onto black employees. He often makes the black employees' work environment a living hell. The main tactic of the plantation overseer supervisor is to find ways to passive aggressively get a rise out of black employees. He will nitpick every little thing a black employee is doing on the job. He will go out his way to critique or dismiss the hard work of black employees. Woo. The plantation overseer supervisor fully understands that he constantly prodding and provoking employees on a daily basis will often frustrate them to the point they would quit or lash out. This is exactly what you want. These types of systemic white supremacists take pride in coming up with sensitive ways to get black people fired. In many cases, they want to open up a job position for one of the white cornies. In other cases, they just want to get a power rush for knowing that consistent white supremacy allows them to get a privilege to negatively impact the lives of black people. Another tactic the plantation overseer supervisor will use is to drop slick little racial comments around black employees. He will get around black employees and purposely make comments like thugs in Chicago or people on welfare in the ghetto. He will keep using these racially coded insults in the hopes that a black employee will ultimately get fed up and possibly threaten or even assault him. He will use the incident like that to file criminal charges against the black employee, and they will sue the company. When dealing with a plantation overseer type on the job, it is very important not to take his bait or react emotionally to his racial antagonism. Stay cool if you are able to simply record everything he has said to you. You have to think 10 steps ahead of these plantation overseer supervisor types. These people are constantly in a battle against you, and it's important to hold a trump card against them if need be. If you secretly record them engaging in racially insensitive or derogatory conversations, you can use that recording against the successful white supremacists. You can take a recording down to human resources department and possibly get a supervisor fired. You can also use a recording to file a possible lawsuit against the supervisor in the company. Always use the activism of the plantation overseer supervisor to your advantage.
Yo, that was dope. That was dope part.
Yep.
Man, this book, man, I'm highly recommend everyone purchasing this goddamn book. There's we ain't getting paid by Tariq. We just want to shout this book out. We highly recommend it, man. It got nothing but good knowledge and information. But we ain't giving y'all no more. Buy the man's book. What would you give the book?
So far, A+.
All right, A+ too.